So we've got some really crazy Starfield news that might change things for everybody and definitely makes this game even more exciting. So there's an article that went up on PC Games N, and I've seen it all sorts of other places as well. Starfield might actually feature ray tracing, one of the things that we'd hoped the game would do, but we never actually got news about it. We never got real confirmation. Well, it turns out that this might actually be the case. It seems that somebody noticed that one of the Bethesda developers, Jermaine Mazik, who is a graphics programmer at Bethesda who works up in Montreal in the Montreal office, happens to have something in their profile that's particularly interesting. Check this out. In the section that says graphics programmer, they write Starfield, PBR lighting, indirect lighting, RTX integration. This seems like a confirmation that we're getting RTX integration. So what is RTX? What is ray tracing? That's a very good question. Ray tracing is the modeling of actual light that bounces around a scene rather than what games traditionally do, where they pretend to make the light work. Cyberpunk 2077 does this, and they actually have the same kind of indirect world lighting happening. Games like Battlefield will do it with reflections of stuff, but they don't necessarily have it on all the lighting. Some games will do it with like local lighting and shadows and stuff like that. What this potentially means is that Starfield will be able to model the lighting of whatever. So this means like the lights of your ship. This means the light reflecting off of objects in the world around you. This also means stars and planets and the light in space bouncing off of objects, all sorts of things. This is huge because the newest consoles, the PS4 and the Xbox Series S and X, all have the ability to do ray tracing. They all have that. And on top of that, we just got the big announcement from NVIDIA that the new cards, the 4090 and the 4080, are all going to have improved ray tracing. Now, on top of that, you have ray tracing, but then ray tracing is very, very heavy on a system. It really taxes the system a lot. It lowers the frame rate and those kinds of things. So with the new addition of the new 4000 series NVIDIA cards, they also talked about an upgrade to DLSS 3. DLSS is software inside the cards that helps render the screen and everything and make everything run at a higher frame rate at a very, very slight hit to graphics quality, and almost non-existent hit to graphics quality. So it takes a scene and it will actually render the scene at fewer pixels, do all of the ray tracing, and then up-res the screen. And so now you have full screen ray tracing in a game at a frame rate that you can actually play. This sounds freaking amazing. People have been integrating ray tracing into a bunch of other games. In fact, there are mods out there that plug this into Doom or try to get it to work on things like Fallout 4. It's very possible that the creation engine can have this ability because it is so modular. You can actually tack things onto it and people can connect other modules. That's why there are so many mods out there, is that modders are actually able to do this as well. So this is exciting news. This could potentially be really big for the game. And people were talking about with the highlights from the reveal over the summer that the graphics look okay. They're not super great. With indirect RTX ray tracing lighting across everything, that's absolutely a game changer. So, any other questions about that? Yeah, ray tracing is crazy. It's really, really crazy update. I think it would be amazing for traveling through space. Think about the light. Like, they just noted in the news recently that, at least here in Florida, it's a full moon, and the moon is so bright right now that if you go out on a dark night with the full moon, that it's so bright that it actually will cast shadows. Imagine that. And that's just the moon on our planet at the distance our moon is, right? Imagine going to other solar systems, other planets with multiple moons or multiple suns, and the way the lighting would work from that. Like, I mean, even just here in the room right now, I've got multiple lights, right? On this side of me, I have a white light. You can see if I cover it, you can see it casts shadows on my face. But on this side, I've got a blue light. And so I'm getting different light on my face from different angles that also creates different shadows. All of this stuff are things that we subconsciously pick up on that make a room feel real and make an object in the room feel truly lit from reality, right? But then the lights also bounce off other stuff. So the front of my face is a combination of these lights, also the light from my screen, but also the lights that are bouncing off the curtains in front of me and bouncing back to me, right? So all of that stuff comes together to make a scene just feel more real, even if you aren't noticing all the little details. So I'm excited about this. I think this is really cool news and definitely worth something to check up on. I dig through some other LinkedIn articles for some other Bethesda developers. I went through a number of them and didn't see anything else noted in the same way that this one was. The other news about Starfield is that Nate Perkypile was interviewed recently about some of his experience working for Bethesda and details about his new game, The Axis Unseen, which is like a heavy metal hunting mythical monsters game that he's been working on. Nate is an awesome dude. I've had the opportunity of interviewing him two or three times, and he primarily worked on art and lighting and those kinds of things from games for the last 14 years at Bethesda, or at least as of 2 years ago. So like Skyrim, a bunch of the Fallouts, including 4 and 76. I think he might have started with 3, but then also Starfield. And during the interview with him, he mentioned that one of the things that felt so different about working at Bethesda now, as opposed to back in like the Skyrim days, was that he was just one of like 500 devs, or at least employees, working on the game, which is huge. Fallout 76 had 200 people. Starfield had 500 people working on it. The team that worked on Morrowind was like 6 or 7 people. The team that worked on Skyrim was like 30. So if that puts it into perspective. But one of the things that shows up in a lot of the news articles lately is that he's highlighted the fact that there were 500 people on this project. So he felt like he was making less of a major impact because he was one of so many, that kind of thing. But that also makes me think, holy moly, this is going to be a huge game. Like, holy crap, right? So we'll have to see.